Do you think that 30 men should be able to get married and adopt children?
It's a tough situation.
That's a tough situation?
What the hell do you mean by degeneracy? These organizations are promoting pornography.
Yes.
Do we even need to continue? That's absurd.
You don't think that NGOs promote pornography?
No.
Really?
Errors of the past is really the traumas of the future.
I have no idea what the hell you're talking about, bro.
Understood.
Welcome back to Rattlesnake TV, guys. In this video, we're going to be watching another installment of the Andrew Wilson versus 5 on modern day debate. Now, this one can only be described as what happens when a black belt takes on a bunch of babies. Absolute destruction. I don't know where they found these guys, but with that, let's get into it.
So specifically with the Bible, right? Because that's where you're getting your morals from, and we're trying to figure this out together here.
Well, here, let's make it easy.
Okay.
I'll make it easier for you. Let's say the Bible for a second is not true.
Okay.
Okay? It's a complete lie. Everything in it's a lie. God's not real, blah, 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 blah. But society is adhering to a standard for sexual morality. I think that even from an atheist worldview, the standard and benefits to society would still be so much better that they should still adhere to an anti-degeneracy policy.
So it's less about the morals and it's more about the effects for you?
Well, it would be more about the effects for an atheist, so maybe I can convince you that way.
Okay, well, let's move into the effect. Like, what's the problem with, like, you know, sexual immorality, for example?
Think
Pick
that,
anything you
Yeah,
want.
do you think that 30 men should be able to get married and adopt children?
It's a tough situation.
That's a tough situation?
Well, I mean, specifically what I mean by that is, and as I alluded to earlier, I don't think that family structures are what matter. I think parenting styles are what matter.
Yes.
So I have a hard time imagining
So 30 gay dudes
men
get married and adopt.
I kind of agree with you, but I don't want to just say, like, I agree.
Yeah,
and then
but
that's
why
it,
would
right?
you agree?
Because I don't imagine that 30
I thought it was
men,
amoral.
Well, no. So parenting is different. So we're talking about a parenting situation.
Why is
now.
parenting different? Why wouldn't that be amoral? Like, whatever parent structure you
because
have
we have to
should
look
be
at
fine.
what's in the moral sphere, right? So personal sexuality, like, that is not in the moral sphere. That's not something that has any effect on other people. Parenting,
I see. Hang on. So just real quick then. If two twin brothers wanted to have sex with each other, you would have no issue with that.
No, I would.
I thought it was amoral.
Well, so, okay. Let's try to get back on the point. Just because
that is the point.
No, specifically because I'm an emotivist, right? So when I say I don't like something, I'm not saying like this is objectively right or wrong. It's just like I don't like that, right? So like incest, necrophilia, any of the things that you usually like to mention, right? Like, I don't have an objective standard by which I can say this is wrong, but as an emotivist, I can still say it's wrong because these are all arbitrary.
Okay,
right?
so it's wrong, right? Should we allow it though?
So specifically, like the twin sibling situation, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
I would probably say no.
Yeah, because it doesn't make society better, right?
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, because that's a form of degeneracy.
But that's not really relevant to what we're talking about here. We're talking about like homosexuality here, right? That's really what we're talking about.
Yeah,
when
but
about
how does that make society better?
Well, it's because how does it make it worse?
Well, it's the same thing as the twin brothers, right? If
Well,
if love is love, and it's just all about who you love, and you're not hurting nobody, how could you object to the twin brothers?
Well, I mean, like legally or ethically?
Ethically.
Yeah, I mean, again, I can't.
And okay, legally, whatever your legal objection would be to that would be the same one I'd have to homosexuality.
His argument ultimately boils down to my feelings. But if your morality starts and ends with your emotions, then congratulations, you actually don't have a moral framework at all. Just impulses dressed up as a philosophy. And this is actually called emotivism. This is actually a branch of philosophy, or a branch of ethics, if you will. But when society is full of people who think like this, it's no surprise that we end up drowning in hedonism and nihilism. And this is why so many atheists quietly borrow Christian morality while pretending they invented ethics. But emotivism is just literally relativism. And relativism has no standards or no guardrails or no spine. Anyways, with that intellectual train wreck behind us, let's move on.
Speaking of irrelevant rhetorical questions, what the hell do you mean by degeneracy?
Yeah, so things I would categorize as degeneracy would be things like pornography, a non-nuclear family, the promotion of single motherhood, the promotion of sex out of wedlock, the promotion of all of these things I would consider under an umbrella term for degeneracy.
Okay, sorry to get personal on you, but do you not watch porn, or have you not had sex prior to your marriage?
Sure.
So what's the problem?
It doesn't mean it should be promoted.
Who's promoting it?
Well, right now there's a top-down structure to promote things like LGBTQ, also to promote and glorify single motherhood, also to promote and glorify sexual deviancy of all kinds.
So no. So who? You didn't answer the question.
Well, right now it's mostly Democrats.
Democrats are
progressives.
promoting in what way?
Well, they make policies at the top-down level to give promotional tools towards LGBTQ and feminist activists. And what they
policies?
do...
You just said policies.
Yeah, so what they
policies?
use the NGOs. You know what an NGO is?
Tell me.
It's a non-government organization.
Okay.
So they use massive NGOs, and if you were
haven't answered the
watching,
question, though.
I'm answering it
What
right now.
policies?
They use Doge, right? Like
Right.
Doge just
Sure.
went through and showed how much money is going to these various NGOs in order to give promotion to these things, which is now funded by the federal government under Democrats like Joe Biden, right? Towards those organizations,
that are promoting
LGBTQ and
premarital
feminism.
sex
Yes.
and pornography.
Yes, and how
Seriously,
they promote it.
You
Yes.
think that these organizations are promoting
Yes.
pornography?
Yes.
But do we even need to continue? That's absurd.
You don't think that NGOs promote pornography?
No.
Really?
Yes. Explain how.
And
they
you
are.
think that's absurd?
Yeah. Explain how they are.
Okay.
Please, convince me.
Oh yeah, sure. Have you ever heard of AIPAC?
No.
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 Okay. The Israeli lobby?
No.
No. You don't know what the Israeli lobby is?
No.
Okay. Do you know that Pornhub gives tons and tons and tons of money to various lobbying groups?
Okay.
And that would be a non-government organization, right?
All right.
Yeah. And so what they do is they
So
give
how do
money
they
to these
promote
to these government groups and these lobbyists, so that the lobbyists will in turn create legalization and promotional tools for porn companies.
What tools and what promotion? I've never seen an advertisement for Pornhub.
Really? You don't have Twitter?
No.
You don't have
No.
Twitter?
No. Literally, I only use it to communicate. But
You've never seen any porn advertisements on Twitter?
literally, no.
No. Okay. You're the one. Okay.
Well, there you have it. He doesn't know what an NGO is, still doesn't know what APAC is, and somehow thinks that proudly advertising his own ignorance is an argument. I mean, look, everybody loses debates. The difference is that intelligent or even mildly self-aware people go back, fill the gaps, and refuse to stay stupid. And I actually don't care when these clips were filmed, because there had to have been a time in between that where he could have just done a quick Google search. So the timeline doesn't change anything yet. Every opportunity to learn and didn't do so. Chose not to. That is not actually an accident. That is a conscious commitment to ignorance. And then he tried the gotcha with Andrew, asking if he'd ever engaged in the same sort of degeneracy that he condemns.
Do you not watch porn, or have you not had sex prior to your marriage?
This only embarrasses him further, because that's actually not an argument. That's just an appeal to hypocrisy. I mean, everybody who watches these videos and who pretty much lives in this modern world, besides a few rare specimens, have engaged in degeneracy. Some of us more than others. But this doesn't invalidate the criticism. That is just a child's argument. A former addict is actually more qualified to warn you about the dangers of drugs, not less. Experience actually strengthens one's moral position, and it doesn't invalidate it. With that, let's move on.
So wait. So some company creates an advertisement on Twitter, and that supports your thesis.
No. What I'm getting at is that non-government organizations, right, promote either through government and get reciprocal kickbacks from government in order to promote various ideologies, which include feminism and LGBTQ. It was all just recently released over the last 2 weeks from Doge. There was other documents which were released on NGOs doing this. I don't remember what the report was called, but yeah.
Like 20 years ago?
What?
I was in college in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Was porn not a thing?
Yeah, it was the thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Not like it is now.
Oh, it's more of a thing now?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What about premarital sex?
Yeah, what about it?
Is it more of a thing now than
Yeah.
it was?
Yeah, for sure. The stats bear it out.
What stats is that? Based on what?
You can actually go
Send me a study.
Yeah, you can go look at Pew Research. Pew Research has
No,
gone
don't tell
over
me
this.
to look it up. Tell me what you're basing it on.
Basing it on Pew Research polling, which shows year over year how much single motherhood has increased, which infers. I'm guessing you don't think people are becoming single mothers because they're having less
Is that
sex.
worldwide or in this country?
This country.
And why do you think that is?
I just told you, because NGOs and other groups mass promote degeneracy in society.
So that doesn't exist in other countries?
Yeah, in other countries this happens too. Mostly Western nations.
Why is that? Why doesn't it happen in China?
Because the government puts a massive clamp down and has different forms of propaganda for the things they promote.
Different forms of propaganda. Oh, so you promote a communist government? Then we should control. We should control the media and the free speech.
I think that we should control things which are bad for the public. Yes.
Wow, that's awfully communist of you.
Oh, okay. Well, then I guess having patriotism is awful communist of you.
How?
Because that's a control for making
what
people
sense
loyal
does
to
that
the
make?
country.
Literally, you can just say words, but it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it does make sense because you're just all you're trying to do
No,
is control loyalty to the nation. That's what patriotism
you're claiming
is.
to be a patriot, but you're anti-free speech and you're for controlling the.
Why is free speech patriotic?
What kind of question is that? This is why I sat down. I said you're the king of rhetorical questions. Why is free speech patriotic?
Yeah, that's your claim.
I mean, it's by definition patriotic. Come on.
Oh, it's definitionally patriotic.
Pretty much.
Because you made it up.
So there is absolutely more porn consumption today than there was 20 years ago. Even if in some data it says that porn searches peaked around 2016, the overall volume is still drastically higher than 2005. This is the only comparison that matters. And what makes this whole argument kind of funny is that this guy opens and closes with calling Andrew the king of rhetorical questions when his arguments are actually just nothing but rhetoric. He says you can just say words, but it doesn't make any sense. And then immediately calls Andrew a communist for opposing degeneracy.
So you promote a communist government then?
Zero logic, just vibes. And then he confidently declares that free speech is by definition patriotic.
It's by definition patriotic. Come on.
Oh, come on. No citation, no principle, nothing. Just invents a definition and calls it the truth. I mean, I don't like to overuse the word projection, but if there was ever a textbook case, that would have been it. Anyways, enough of him. On to somebody whose mind we will never quite understand.
Greetings.
Repeat the question.
Yeah, we shouldn't be promoting degeneracy in society.
Promoting degeneracy in society.
Mm-hmm.
Who has allowed it?
Who has allowed the degeneracy to be promoted in society?
Correct.
Yeah, that's a really complicated question. So,
Make it simple.
Yeah. Okay. So essentially, there's been an evolution of people who've been brought into the country from various other nations, especially post-war, like Operation Paperclip and others, which have literally embedded themselves into non-elected official posts in the United States government, who have pushed propaganda towards societies that we didn't used to have and don't want.
Now, my question is, since they came in, it's the fault who were in the first place to allow them to victimize or profit or along the lines.
I'm not sure that it could have been foreseen that bringing these people in, that they were going to be able to do this. I'm not sure that could have been foreseen.
Okay, if I provide evidence that it could have been foreseen, but due to the error that have blinded them, for example, the separation of church and state, is supposed to be the unification of church and state, that the church has solutions, the state has solutions, and therefore unified, therefore avoiding problems of errors that may occur from within, but also from those that are trying to bring it in from the outside. So is a standard of degeneracy is a state of decay. Whether they knew beforehand or prior, they have accepted it as a way of truth, the way in life, the way of what should be accepted. But it should have never been to begin with. But then the perpetuity of that have literally allowed degeneracy to run rapid in a rate with technology that now it's making it so difficult to pinpoint accurately provide solutions when it's really errors of the past is really the traumas of the future. So
I have no idea what the hell you're talking about, bro.
Understood.
Yeah.
Okay, so if anybody can understand what he meant by that, I'd really love to know in the comments. So let's move on to the more coherent portion.
The bottom of your society has to put upward pressure for a top-down campaign to move against degeneracy and promote the nuclear family and to promote non-degenerate activities instead.
Okay, but here's the issue. Separation of church and state, you literally divided the church and the state. Now they're dealing the problems themselves. But if the solutions actually is from the opposite ends, but they're not going to the extent of...
Yeah, even in a country where you have a divide between the church and the state, there's going to have to be some type of consequence of synergy. So there's going to have to be some kind of synergistic relationship between the moral arm, whatever that is, and the state itself. I don't see a way around that. So this nation while the secularists claim that there's separation of church and state, even though there isn't, right? It's just in the First Amendment, it says that Congress can't make a law favoring one religion over another, not that it has to be separated from government itself, especially considering that our original colonies all had state religions even after it was ratified as the United States. So we never had a separation between church and state. We just didn't want independent colonies to essentially make or we wanted them to be able to pick the religion they wanted without the federal government dictating what the religion was going to be.
So why can't it be that everyone agreed on one religion as a unifying state of mind?
They did. Each one of the 13 colonies did do exactly that. They had a state religion.
Now, if that was some form of not fulfilling, let's just say they didn't go all the way from what we did, like our inheritance from them, it seems like we're suffering now. So it seems like they made a mistake. Would that be true or false?
Yeah, I think they made many mistakes. Okay.
So Andrew's interlocutor here isn't entirely wrong in the sense that the modern interpretation of the separation of church and state has become a big problem. I mean, the founding fathers weren't wrong to bar Congress from establishing a national church. Their caution was rooted in European history. But the modern distortion of separation of church and state has erased the fact that America was explicitly Christian at its birth, with God invoked in the Declaration and nearly every colony enforcing religious standards. And once that shared faith dissolved, the moral and communal unity that held the nation together unraveled with it. So that's all I've got for you today, guys. Don't forget to let me know what you think of the debaters and their positions in the comments. Looking forward to reading them. And also, make sure to like the video, subscribe if you have not already, and if you would like to watch another one, right here. Next time, I'm Jake. This is Rattlesnake TV, armed and dangerous.